Preview. The 17 most expensive Rolex watches of all time. Rolex holds a special place in the world of high-end mechanical watches. It's the most valuable luxury watch brand in the world. Rolex is also one of the most expensive watch brands. The Swiss manufacturer produces iconic models that have become a true status symbol. Owning a contemporary Rolex Day-Date or a vintage SUBMARINER, for example, tells a lot about who you are and what you've accomplished in your life. All these fundamentals play an important role in Rolex's prestige, but there is so much more to the brand. Other watch manufacturers such as Patek Philippe and are equally APT as producing subline watches. Rolex, however, has a rich and varied history of innovation and leadership in watchmaking. Rolex watches have also been worn by global personalities from the worlds of sports, cinema, politics, and business. Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Ellie Macpherson, Winston Churchill, Dr. Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, John F. Kennedy, Marlon Brando, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Victoria Beckham are just some of the most popular Rolex owners. To help you navigate the world of Rolex watches and understand the role that each of their models plays into the brand, we're looking today at the 17 most expensive Rolex watches of 2021. Some of the most expensive models are historical pieces that took value thanks to their rarity of the fame of their previous owners. Others are contemporary pieces that you can purchase right now by just walking in the Rolex boutique. Their price range from $13,337 to $17.8 million. This is going to be an in-depth list, so if you just want to know what is the most expensive Rolex on the market today, here's the short version. The Rolex GMT-MASTER 2 Ice is the most expensive model range in the current collection, with prices starting from $485,350. The Paul Newman Daytona is the single most expensive Rolex ever sold. It was purchased for $17.8 million during an auction in October 2017. We're starting our list with the least expensive Rolex watches. Those are contemporary models that you can buy today. As we go down on the list, you'll discover unique historical models that only go on sale through private auctions. They were often the properties of celebrities and influential people or produced in unique materials. Rolex SUBMARINER Date. Price starts from $13,337, 2021. The classic Rolex SUBMARINER starts our list with the date model of the watch. First launched in 1953, the SUBMARINER was the first wristwatch that divers could take to a depth of 100 meters, 330 feet. Made popular by the original James Bond movie, although without the date and on the NATO strap, the Rolex SUBMARINER is one of the brand's most popular models. Price for the current Rolex SUBMARINER line starts from $13,337 and vary based on the material that you choose. Stainless steel, yellow gold, and white gold are available. Sky Dweller, oyster steel, and yellow gold. Price starts from $14,275, 2021. You don't see many Rolex Sky Dweller models around. The self-winding watch was originally designed for pilots and frequent travelers to keep track of 2 time zones at the same time on the dial. The wearer of the watch can set the local time on the main dial with traditional hour, minute, and second hands. In addition, smaller dial off-center can be adjusted to keep track of second time zone. That second time dial provides a 24-hour display to easily distinguish daytime from nighttime. Prices for the Sky Dweller starts from $14,275. You can choose from a combination of white gold, yellow gold, and rose gold materials. COSMOGRAPH Daytona. Price starts from $16,780, 2021. The memorizing Rolex Daytona dial was introduced in 1963 to celebrate the high-performance world of professional race car driving. The model rapidly gained popularity among movie stars and the grand public at large. The COSMOGRAPH Daytona defined an entire watch category among sports chronographs. Its dial has become an icon often celebrated and reproduced by other watch brands. Two small pushers on the right-hand side of the watch allow the wearer to activate the chronograph function. The pushers can be screwed down to guarantee waterproofness to 100 meters, 330 feet. Rolex DATEJUST price starts from $17,000, 2021. The elegant Rolex DATEJUST was first introduced in 1945 to celebrate the company's 40th anniversary. It has now become a predominant watch for business people around the world. The watch is so versatile that it can be worn both as a part of a business casual or business professional outfit. It comes with a large section of bracelets, dials, materials, and the option to have precious stones on the dial. The DATEJUST is available in sizes ranging from 31mm to 34, 36, and 41. There is also a special 28mm Lady DATEJUST. The watch is available in stainless steel, white gold, yellow gold, and rose gold. Rolex Date-8. Price starts from $34,500, 2021. The Rolex Date-8 is arguably the pinnacle of status symbol. It's one of the most expensive watches in Rolex's current collection. It was worn by countless leaders and head of state across the world. The Date-8 first launched in 1956 as the first waterproof and self-winding chronometer wristwatch to offer a calendar with a date display in addition to the date. It was also the first watch to introduce the Jubilee Rolex bracelet, sometimes called President's Bracelet, that offers exceptional wear comfort on the wrist. The 2021 Date-8 comes with a caliber 32-55 movement that offers superb reliability and performance in a case that is perfectly suitable to wear with a suit or formal attire. Price for the Date-8 starts from $34,500. The dial is available in 36 and 40mm and comes in yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, or platinum. Rolex PEARLMASTER Collection, $87,000, 2021. The Rolex PEARLMASTER tops our list of the most expensive Rolexes that you can buy today. The watch retails from $87,000, but its price might vary depending on the market price of diamonds at the time of your purchase. The watch comes in 34 and 39mm cases and is exclusively available in yellow gold, white gold, and rose gold, called Everrose. The watch is a high-end customized version of the Rolex Datejust with finely carved diamonds and precious gems. Rolex had to develop high-end techniques to precisely align the height, orientation, and position of each stone on the dial. The PEARLMASTER comes with 3 bracelet options, 2 of which include gemstones on the bracelet themselves. The watch is also waterproof up to 100 meters, 330 feet, and has a 48-hour power reserve. From here on, every other Rolex watch on our list except the GMT-MASTER 2 Ice is a unique piece that was sold through a public or private auction. While you might be able to purchase one of them if they come back on the market in the future, they are not currently up for sale. Steve McQueen's 1967 Rolex SUBMARINER sold for $234,000, 2009. Steve McQueen's 1967 Rolex SUBMARINER is the 11th most expensive Rolex ever sold. You could argue that Steve McQueen's 1967 Rolex SUBMARINER started the modern craving for vintage Rolex watches. The watch is the first on our list to be sold for a high price at an auction in 2009. Organized by Antiquarium, the auction closed at $234,000, which was the highest price ever paid for a vintage Rolex at the time. The watch itself is a classic Rolex Submariner from 1967. What makes it special, however, is that it was once owned by Stephen McQueen. The legendary actor dubbed the King of Cool was known in the 60s and 70s for being one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. His Rolex Submariner kept that reputation intact. The value of the Steve McQueen Submariner has surely increased over the past 10 years. A second Steve McQueen Submariner was meant to go on sale in December 2018, but the action was cancelled at the last minute due to a dispute with the McQueen estate. Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster sold for $277,850, March 2011. The Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster is the 8th most expensive Rolex ever sold. Unlike its mother sibling, the Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster is based on the Day-Date collection instead of the DATEJUST. The limited edition watch is made from meteorite diamond and counts 42 diamonds on its custom bezel. The 39mm dial watch was first released in 2011 for $277,850. James Bond's 1972 Rolex Submariner sold for $365,000, November 2015. Roger Moore's 1972 Rolex Submariner is the 7th most expensive Rolex watch sold in an auction. Yet another Submariner in our first list of the most expensive Rolex watches ever sold. This one is actually a watch worn by Sir Roger Moore while playing James Bond in Live and Let Die in 1973. The watch was sold for $365,000 at the Phillips auction in Geneva in 2015. The watch was modified for the movie. In particular, the bezel was changed to look like a circular saw. It is used by James Bond in the movie to cut a rope. The watch's magnetic field is also used to unzip Miss Caruso's dress, played by Madeline Smith. The James Bond Submariner was so heavily modified for the movie that it doesn't tell time anymore. The back of the watch, however, was signed by Roger Moore. Rolex GMT-MASTER 2 Ice, $485,350, 2021. This Rolex GMT-MASTER's Ice is the watch that football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo wore during the 14th Dubai International Sports Conference. It is the most expensive new Rolex you can buy. It retails for $485,350, but its price might vary depending on the market price for diamonds at the time of your purchase. The Rolex GMT-MASTER 2 Ice is entirely covered in precious stones and made from white gold. The dial has an interesting wave pattern of diamonds and gold. The rest of the case hasn't been compromised by the in-house customization. You get all the same features and performances that the modern Rolex GMT2 delivers, including a waterproof case, up to 100 meters, 330 feet, and 50 hours of power reserve. The dial features the classic GMT second hand to set a second time zone. Jack Nicklaus Rolex Day-Date sold for $1.22 million, December 2019. Jack Nicklaus Rolex Day-Date sold for $1.22 million in December 2019. Rolex gave this yellow gold Day-Date to legendary golfer Jack Nicklaus in 1967. He pretty much wore it every day since then. Jack Nicklaus, known as the Golden Bear, wore this Rolex when he won 12 of his record 18 professional major championship titles. The watch was also often photographed when Nicklaus hosted the championship trophy following his victories. The yellow gold Day-Date on a president's bracelet is Rolex's most prestigious model and one of the world's most famous watches. This is the very first watch I ever owned and the only watch I wore for every professional tournament I won throughout my career, Jack Nicklaus said. It has accompanied me at the US Open's Masters Tournament, PGA Championship, Open Championships, and countless other events for over 5 decades and has served me well at every step along the way. The watch sold for $1.22 million at the Philips auction in December 2019. All of the auction's proceeds went to NICKLAUS's charitable foundation that cares for children in need around the world. Eric Clapton's Rolex, Oyster Albino, COSMOGRAPH, Daytona sold for $1.4 million, May 2015. Eric Clapton's Rolex Oyster Albino COSMOGRAPH Daytona is the 5th most expensive Rolex watch ever sold. Eric Clapton's Daytona, dubbed the Rolex Oyster Albino COSMOGRAPH, sold not only once but twice for a substantial amount during public auction. The first time was in 2003 in New York, where the watch was bought for $505,000 during an auction organized by Sotheby's. 12 years later, in May 2015, Eric Clapton's Daytona was sold once more, but this time for $1.4 million at the Philips auction in Geneva, nearly 3 times its previous price. Besides its famous first owner, the Rolex Oyster Albino Daytona is special because only 4 pieces are available with the dial in a single color. The Daytona dial usually has 2 colors to make the chronograph totalizers contrast with the rest of the dial. Marlon Brando's Apocalypse Now Rolex GMT-MASTER sold for $1.952 million, December 2019. Marlon Brando's Apocalypse Now Rolex GMT-MASTER sold for $1.952 million in December 2019. This Rolex GMT 1675, worn by Marlon Brando in the movie Apocalypse Now, was sold for $1.952 million at the Philips auction in December 2019. The auction, appropriately named the Philips' Game Changers event, saw the Rolex GMT-MASTER, manufactured in 1972, sell well above the expected price. Marlon Brando, an Academy Award winner, wore the watch on a black strap with its bezel missing. Francis Ford Coppola had indeed asked Brando to remove the bezel, as it will stand out too much in the movie. The watch is also unique because Brando carved his name on the back. It sold after 50 minutes of intense bidding. ANTIMAGNETIQUE, reference 4113, from 1942, sold for $2.5 million, May 2016. The Rolex ANTIMAGNETIQUE, reference 4113, from 1942, is the 4th most expensive Rolex watch in the world. The 1942 ANTIMAGNETIQUE, reference 4113, is the oldest Rolex on our list, after selling the nearly $2.5 million during the Philips auction in Geneva 2016. It comes in an extraordinarily large case considering its production year at 42 mm. It is in fact the largest case ever built by Rolex. Only 12 examples of the referenced 4113 are known to still exist today. The watch was initially produced as a gift to celebrate the victory of a racing team. Interestingly, this particular model has been sold just 3 years before in 2013 for $1.16 million at Christie's. It's another example of the step price increase for rare Rolex models. The Rolex Bow Die sold for $5.1 million, May 2017. The Rolex Bow Die is the 3rd most expensive Rolex watch ever sold. The Rolex Bow Die is unquestionably one of the most instantly recognizable models among watch fans. Based on the Rolex reference 6062, this watch was initially sold to the last emperor of the Nguyen dynasty in Vietnam, 1954. At the time, this was the most expensive model in Rolex's collection. The gold case and black dial were the rarest configurations available. The only 3 were ever produced according to Ho Dinky, and this piece is only one of the 3 to have diamonds markers on the even hours. The Rolex Bow Die was sold for over $5.1 million at auction at Philips in Geneva in 2017. The watch had already been sold throughout auctions before. The Nguyen family first sold it for $235,000 in 2002, which was the highest price ever paid for a Rolex at that time. The 1971 Rolex Daytona reference 626 unicorn sold for $5.9 million May 2018. The 1971 Rolex Daytona reference 626 unicorn is the second most expensive Rolex. Uniqueness and rarity explain the price of this 1970 Rolex Daytona that was sold for $5.9 million in 2018. The reference 6265 is the only model available in 18-karat white gold, hence its unicorn nickname. The vast majority of Rolex Daytona produced at the time were in stainless steel. Besides its precious material, the story of the watch is itself interesting. Few people have ever heard of it until it was announced in 2013 that famous Rolex collector John Goldberg had acquired the watch, Oro Montanari of his real name. Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona sold for $17.8 million, October 2017. Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona is not only the most expensive Rolex ever sold, but it's also the most expensive watch ever sold in the world. It's easily beat the previous record set by a 1943 Patek Philippe perpetual calendar chronograph that sold for $11 million in 2016. The opening bid for Paul Newman's Daytona started at $1 million but was immediately raised to $10 million by the first bidder, stunning the entire action room at Philippe's. The only bidders then fought for the watch to finally settle its price at $17.8 million. While relatively well preserved, this Rolex Daytona isn't particularly rare nor made from precious materials. But its unique story is what watch collectors are most interested in. It was given to Paul Newman's by his wife Joanne Woodward while he was playing in the movie Winning. Why are Rolex watches so valuable? People often wonder why Rolex watches are so expensive. What is so special about Swiss manufacturer to explain the price of its high-end mechanical watches? Beyond timekeeping, a Rolex watch is an object of desire and aspiration, a symbol of achievement and success, a gratifying luxury indulgence. Behind the brand, the Rolex company operates in a very different fashion from most of the other watch manufacturers in the world. The company is privately held and is set up as a charity. For more videos, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel Celebrity.tn.